Oh, there we go. Yep, I did actually press the button. Good. Okay, so we should be live, and I'm assuming this will kick the host off momentarily. Okay, I just got that. There we go. Exiting host mode, and I see myself. Or, well, I see the stream. Okay, so back to the work here. So I got myself a cartridge. It was really cheap. World Cup. Nintendo World Cup. And so the plan is that we can now have this in here, which will allow us to cut more of this away. We can remove the internals of this cartridge and cut the back off. And we can basically just remove a whole lot of internal structure here. So, step one, I think, will be to remove the internals of this cartridge so we can see what we're working with. It's a security bit, so I had to use a different screwdriver there. So we'll just throw that over there. Inside this magical cartridge. Wait, hold on. Is there a second screw there? No, that's not a second screw. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it slides. I forgot about that. Kind of, you can actually see the little locking mechanism. So it sits down and slides up into place. Alright, so we'll take out the actual cartridge. So in theory, I could still play this if I wanted to. If I just take that out and some nasty ass grime that accumulated inside of this. I don't know, whatever. I don't think there's anything of note to look at on this on the circuit board. What was over there? In the pile of random shit. Okay, so other stuff, I'm going to try and peel off this label, because the ultimate goal here will be to apply a custom label of our own onto here that will be at least slightly visible in the back of the Game Boy, like the top of the cartridge will be. So I'll have to put like something on there that's suitable. Wonder if I can get this started and actually peel it all up nicely. There we go. Oh, not quite. Not quite. So, goals for today. I want to get the controller inputs figured out. The one minor thing is that I only have 3 or 4, only 3 actually, digital inputs that I can use. I have 1 analog input. So I have 2 options, but there's obviously the 4 directions on the D-pad, A button, B button, select and start. So that's 8 inputs. So the options that I've got are to Well, actually, really, there's only one option, because one option would be to use a shift register to get multiple inputs, but that's gonna need four pins, and I don't think on this microcontroller I can use the analog input or analog pin as a digital pin. So that's a bit of an issue. Just grab a little bit of rubbing alcohol here and wipe that off. Thought I had rubbing alcohol down here. But I don't. So I won't. Because ultimately it's not going to matter that much. Because I will have another label that goes over top of this. Now, if I have this closed up again, let me insert this into there. Basically, we can cut off everything below where the cartridge gets its little beveled edge here. So anything from like here down, we can remove. I will mark that with, I swear I had a Sharpie down here. But I don't. I know I have Sharpies in here though. Okay, so I'm gonna what the fuck? Oh, that's just a little blob of solder. That's weird. I'm gonna toss this in here, hold this like this, and I'm gonna mark off. Oh, actually, that's interesting. So I actually can't cut off any of this inside here because that's all. Well, actually, I guess I can because it's gonna be behind. Yeah, it's all behind there. So. Actually, yeah, this is fine. I can basically cut off as much of this as I want. Probably the realistic point, I still need I'm going to have to glue this cartridge into place, so I'm going to need a little bit of edge for that. I suspect what that means is that put you about there. I'm going to mark this like that. And if I was to hold this like that, I can go dot, 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 dot. Along there's our hypothetical line for actual choppage. So, what that means now is that we can bust out the Dremel tool again, this time with a cutting bit. And with that, we can start cutting some of this plastic. We don't need anything particularly heavy duty. We'll just have to keep an eye out and see if these break or anything. Because if they break, then it's going to be a massive hassle. Where is? Fuck. First off, there's 2 drill bits in here. Secondly, the bit that holds the supposed to hold the cutoff discs isn't. Oh, because that's in my little extender bit. Oh shit. Fuck. Wait, hold on. How do I... Oh, I see. I see. If I want to undo this, I pop that into there and then holds it in place. Hey there, Roller Duck. Am I doing makeup? Yep, that's me. Always doing makeup. Okay, so we got that off of there. We're doing Dremel stuff. So basically what I'm working on right now is I got myself a cartridge that I have now peeled the front off of. It was like Nintendo World Cup or something for Game Boy. I have got the back of the Game Boy, inserted that into there, and figured out about how much I can cut off of everything. Inside I can cut off to about this dot, or the black line that I've drawn in there. I marked the bottom edge of the plastic bit there, but we're going to cut that off. And we can cut out basically all the support structure to that point inside to give ourselves a little bit more space to work with. As well as we're going to cut off most of the back of this cartridge and just glue it together. So with that being said... Oh, the other thing is I realized how I can attach this the bezel on, because I had to take it off last night because I used super glue and it started to haze up on the LCD. If I just put a light smearing of hot glue on here, that'll do the trick. Okay. Makeup. But yeah, this I overall I like this cam setup that I've got there. Hey, Muller Rife. I think it hopefully gives a decent view. It's a little tricky to always be working underneath the camera, but the other issue is that this arm doesn't doesn't quite have enough tension or something, so it likes to kind of slip. I'm also having to kind of look around it, but overall I think it's working. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's basically the same as the mini painting streams, except I have a face cam now, which I didn't when I did those streams. Well, I assume Muller Dog has encountered a Frisbee before, right? That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, doing a drawing or first Frisbee ever. Oh my god. That's ridiculous. I assume he loved it. Alright, so we got our little cutoff discs here. Muller Duck almost burnt down the house. I mean, that sounds likely. I won't shots fired too much. Phone would have told you. Alright, oh, nice. The one thing that's good here is that if I cut off where I'm cutting off, it'll be just below the little locking mechanism, so I can still... oh, your phone was upstairs. So I can still sort of lock the top half in place. The only reason we're leaving any of the back of this is to get the appropriate spacing, obviously, but also to give us something to glue to. So we'll see how loud this is. Oh. Also, I'm a fucking idiot. Where am I? There. Is there much magic smoke? No, well, I mean, you can smell the plastic burning a lot. Well, not a lot, but sort of. There's a lot of magic gray plastic debris on me now, though. But no, not much smoke coming out of that. I'm gonna have to vacuum down here. The funny thing with the goggles is that the safety glasses is I had been thinking I need to wear safety glasses when I Dremel. I need to wear safety glasses when I Dremel. And then, obviously, I'd been thinking about it too much and it just kind of popped out of my mind. I probably just should have put them... Oh, it's true, yeah. Computers run on magic smoke, and when it gets let out, then that's when they stop working. I mean, that's just basic computer 101. Alright, so we got that trimmed down. Remove all this excess here. Alright. So we don't need the bottom half of that cartridge anymore. But now, ta-da, like that, we have what appears to be the top, an entire cartridge. When we insert it in place, it looks reasonable. But when you look in here, we have a lot more space. Actually, I should probably just remove most of the bottom of this as well, even. Because there's no reason to have that taking up space. And that extends around to the side. Side and up to the top. Oh, hold on. No, I know the reason why I don't want to do that. Because this helps me set the depth. As in the depth of the cartridge. I could remove all of the internal support structure, like all of this ridge, but I won't remove the actual front. To do that, I think I'm going to switch back to a non-cutting thing. But I'll go back to a non-cutting thing. Actually, is that? No, I'll use the cutters are really inconvenient. Yeah, I'm going to use this kind of inverted cone sanding thing. That kind of shape, and then I'll be able to just go along the edge and it'll basically cut it out, but it'll be slightly different. The reverse bell end, yeah. Come on, there we go. Okay, I will remove the bit at the back that we aren't working with right now. Just going to move the rest of this Game Boy stuff out of the way. And then, just to be sure, yeah, we're removing everything from here down. Dremel's so useful! I got my eyes covered. That's the part that's really at risk here. Have you been wanting a Dremel tool? Seriously though? You know how much I paid for that Dremel tool? $20 with all of the bits. The thing that cost me the most, I wanted some better cutoff discs to cut through metal. They cost me as much as the entire kit. It was stupid. You have a Dremel tool? Dremel is so useful. Like, but look at that. Like, it's so good. I didn't even do a good job there particularly, but... Oh, you got the name brand and it's wireless? Okay, yeah, that's gonna cost you. Okay, so it's okay, I never do a good job. So you'd never be able to tell that it's any different, except for on the inside where it's mostly cut down. We can cut out, only really need to cut out to about there, well below that rather, but like that, and up and around here. I guess if I actually was to push this down, which you'd never notice as not actually being correct positioning, but and we can remove all of this structure as well. Actually, yeah, I guess at this point we're now looking at the whole battery compartment removal and everything, because we're just gonna go nuts in here. Let me just move that out of the way. Upset that you're playing that. I'm not talking like a Westerner. I'm going to just really quickly. I'm just gonna throw some super glue on this and glue this together. Actually. What do you think these are made of? They smelled like... no, fuck it. I'm just going to use super glue. Hey there, Lab TV Live. Just working on fitting some bits into a Game Boy here. Some Dremel tool work. Stuff along those lines. Toss a little bit of a dribble of super glue down in there and down in there. With that should then glue together and should be relatively sturdy. So with all of this, my plan is to continue this cut, I guess, up this way. We need to leave a little bit of that because I'm gonna get a replacement door for the battery compartment. Go up and over. Continue to there. But then we're also going to be cutting out all through here. But I guess once we get to that, we'll probably be cutting from this side. The goal here, we're basically... So what we've got right now is we have an LCD screen in the Game Boy screen area here. I have the bezel there, but it's just attached. So we've got a screen. The goal is we've got it attached to a Wemos D1 Mini, which is like a wireless Arduino basically. It's a Wi-Fi, and essentially a microcontroller with Wi-Fi on board. The goal is to make a basically a remote control for my streams and stuff. Yeah, basically we're going to be able to control, we're going to be able to switch scenes and stuff in OBS through this. So we're going to be using the D-pad and buttons there to navigate through a little menu. Basically we're going to have a menu system on here. It's just going to be a little wireless controller. But we need to get everything fit inside there. So we're removing some things that we don't need in terms of internal structure to just gain some bonus space here. Because we're going to need to fit... I'm going to use one of these 18650 lithium-ion batteries, which fits in here. It fits in here width-wise, but and height-wise. Like, it fits in here in all dimensions, but we need the actual space there. Yeah, OBS WebSockets is what my plan... I haven't got any of the back end worked out yet. As in how... Basically, my plan is to have this... It's going to communicate with a little... I'm going to have an in-between on my server. And it'll... Basically, it'll talk to OBS and maintain the WebSockets. And then the Game Boy itself will be somewhat dumb. which will allow that in between will mean I don't have to always be plugging that in. It's going to retrieve information from the server, and it'll say, hey, I interacted with this menu option on the in this list of things, and please do whatever that corresponds to. So my other plans of things, I've got some home automation stuff, so I'm going to have a lights menu that'll give me at least a few options to control the lights in my stream room. I'm going to have, I'd like to have a menu that will interact with live split as well for when I do speedrun stuff. And I also want, so I want to be able to select a scene and switch to it. Oh, that's exactly what you're working on? Cool. Like to be able to basically switch scenes, mute and unmute / display and undisplay sources, and then lights, and live split interaction, and start and stop stream would be nice. Just turned on my rainbow swirl lights in. I'm actually not sure which room it'd be on right now, but one of them. Anyway, let's get to this. We'll make this cut here, and then from that point we'll kind of figure out what we're cutting in here. That's cool. How are you planning on doing? You're basically trying to make a little scene controller, Leb. Is your plan? What are you just making, like a box with a display, basically, or are you doing? I assume you're not putting it in a Game Boy. That'd be awfully coincidental. You're using Python. That's exactly what I was planning on doing. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Mostly because Python is just really handy dandy and useful. But yeah, you're planning on making some little interface box and then talking to your server to talk to the other stuff. Also, just the hassle of getting WebSockets on the Wemos thing is going to be a hassle, I would imagine. So I didn't want to get into that. Now, hey, buddy. Let's small video mixer. Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, nice. I'm gonna do this, and as per usual, if this is like unacceptably loud, just yell, and I will stop and mute the mic for the duration of the cutting. Reminds you of being in a dentist's office, hearing the other patients getting, like, cut apart. I just realized I started cutting into the little ledge that kind of stops the cartridge from going in any farther. But it seems to be fine. Just gonna... I really should have just used a cut-off disc for this. So now I've got a melted plastic mess here. A razor saw. Yeah. Okay, that's not bad now. Okay, I'll have a look at that paste bin later when I'm not once I'm done streaming here. Yeah, I haven't really thought about the in between too much yet, but it'd be interesting. Like my thought process is basically I'd have the server doing the in between, and it would basically pass like some sort of JSON or XML file with a general like kind of menu structure laid out inside it, and it would pass that to I'm gonna switch to the cutoff thing. It would pass that structure into the Game Boy, and that would then assemble the menu from there. When you interacted with something on the menu, it would send a message back with the identifier to the server, refresh the display, or like it would send it to the server would do some stuff, and it would be like it would refresh the display on a as needed basis, basically, because the display is kind of slow. So refreshing the display isn't going to be an all the time thing. It'll be only like when you press the button, or I'm probably going to pass in a refresh rate with inside the context of each menu. Okay, so I'm just going to cut off this next little segment here. Actually, what I've realized is that earlier this morning I posted a little proof of concept. It's not based on any code or anything other than just what's there to display it. But I posted on my Twitter this morning a little proof of concept mock-up of my interface, or of the basic interface, kind of the tab system that's going to be there on my Game Boy stream controller thing. So there's a little bit of... I did have a little bit of a mock-up. Okay, good. Yeah, you can't tell from this side that it's cut out. Can't tell that really anything's missing from the Game Boy itself, or from the cartridge itself, rather. So I guess I can pretty safely cut off this edge up to this point. Looks nice, the proof of concept, or the, like, I don't know if you went and looked that up or not, but yeah, so that's ultimately, that little proof of concept is the general idea of what I'm going for. We'll see how much it looks like that in the end, but, you know, that's my goal. That's that trimmed down a little bit more. Jesus, I'm gonna have to vacuum down here when I'm done working on this. There's gonna be so much debris. Okay, yeah. So you like how you like my proof of concept at least? I need to work on it because that's obviously just all hard coded. But I need to somehow genericize that. I need to come up with the structures that will define the menu system and kind of insert that all into a structure and figure out how to construct something like that based on whatever structure I come up with. Writer Kid tapped out for Gen Con. He got that one picture. They got that one picture with Allison Hayslip there, I guess. Did he tire out? Got worn out? Too much con for Writer Kid? Okay, nice. And then from the inside, we got lots of extra space. This is good. We won't glue that in place yet, though, because I do want to... didn't meet Becca. I want to rig up some sort of custom label on this cartridge. It'll probably be the OBS logo or something. I don't know exactly, but... I'm still working on that, thinking about what that will be and how I'm going to make said label. Okay, just trying to remove any really questionable edges here, even though it's all gonna be internal, and like this edge in particular won't even be accessible because it'll be behind the cartridge, but I still want to make it sort of nice here. Has to be perfect, exactly. Oh, and I guess I haven't cut this edge yet, so. If it isn't perfect, it's not gonna be worth it. Okay, yeah, let's oh, okay, yeah. 26 buttons, 3 sliders, and 2 encoders. Nice. Yeah, that's the thing, is I'd been kind of thinking about doing something like this for a while, and originally I was planning on something like what you're proposing, with just a little display, just like one of those character displays that you're describing, and sort of what you're describing as well, with just a whole bunch of buttons and stuff. But this Game Boy idea popped into my mind when I was unable to sleep the other night, and he was just like, no, this is too perfect, I have to do this. I could potentially still work in some little digital sliders and stuff onto this, but I haven't really there's still lots of space for modifications and stuff to my plan, so anything is possible at this point. But sliders could be nice to just kind of tweak audio volumes a little bit and stuff. But we will get back into cutting here. We'll cut the other side. Yeah, I ended up going with the little actual display there, the 2.8 inch display, because that's what fit into, or that's what would nicely cover the Game Boy screen. It also goes under the battery light, so I can have custom battery light colors, which is neat. And yeah, once I'm with the Wi-Fi, I can use for all sorts of things. And once it's attached to my server, like once it's connected to my server, sky's the limit in terms of anything I can do. I could have it change my stream titles if I wanted, somehow, if I came up with an interface for it. Like, I guess, actually, what I could do is I could have it such that it would update my stream title to whatever I have inside a file or something. Or any number of things. There's so many possibilities with this. Because I tend to stream, I don't necessarily stream at my computer, I stream in a secondary room. And so sometimes it's inconvenient to fiddle with stream stuff. No, I can't use it to play Game Boy games anymore. Thank you for the follow there, Leb. Found a few other streamers who are building similar things. Oh, that's yeah. So they're all just directly plugging into their thing. Yeah, that's the thing is I don't want to. I want this to be a standalone. I've never fucked around with like I use the WebSocket plugin to use it to control it from my phone right now. But I've never actually. I've looked at the. I've looked at the API, but that's about it. Yeah, there's no logic in that. It's just literally shows the number of followers and the next goal is just hard coded in there. But yeah, we are at our 600 stream. But that's interesting because that means we've lost a few because we were slightly above before. Yeah, I think the WebSocket plugin should be good. I haven't messed around with it though, as I was saying, and so I may still run into some limitations with it, but it looks like it provides a lot of information. I should be able to update the screen when, or push a refresh when there's modifications, because it seems like it pushes out messages when things change. not. That is not the next goal. Oh, well, 700 is the next goal, but not with that reward. Reward in quotes. Okay, so from the inside here, inside of the battery compartment, god damn, there's so much debris. More info than I need is the kind of the impression that I got too. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. Okay, so we will cut around from here. I don't really need to do these lines, but I think it's nice just for my own sake so that I can do all the thinking before I have the Dremel whirring in my hand. It's all event-based. Okay, yeah, so that should make it relatively easy. Cut around from there, over here, up here. We'll try and cut above that. The only thing that's going to be annoying is that these kind of pop out, and this is relatively close to the actual bottom of the Game Boy, so we need to be careful not to cut through that also. But yeah, I mean, the WebSocket plugin seems like a logical choice to build a controller like this on, because it means it's remote. It just seems like the logical choice. I guess the fact that it's not a built-in plugin is the reason. Honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't been included yet, with them including things like the Stinger transitions and stuff in recent patches. Like, it seems like the WebSockets plugin's got to be included sometime soon. Do you have the auto steer turned off, Bloody? And if you're not using tilt controls, do you have tilt controls turned off? Because it will. You can still use regular joystick controls with tilt controls turned on, and it will mess you up. Hey, Camisole. And yeah, it's not a big deal that the WebSockets plugin isn't included, isn't built in. But you know, once it's built in, then there's going to be more use of it, which then means there's going to be more people kind of coming up with things that work based on it. it just helps encourage more contribution to the project, that kind of thing. You know, and Bloody Albatross, that's when you select your cart, you turn that on or off. Or if you're in a race, you go to the pause menu, and there's the 3 options along the bottom of the pause menu. So we're not quite through this yet. It's interesting the kind of bluish color that comes out when you cut. Oh, I guess that's that. Never mind. Ignore that. That's the Sharpie. I'm just stupid. So we haven't cut through this post all the way. And I don't... Yeah, we haven't cut through in this corner yet. Or this one. Corners are tricky, though, because you're really close to that bottom edge. So that... I just want to mark where that line is. Or where that post is, rather. Right there. Okay. Auto acceleration will basically just hold the A button for you. I'm just going to see if I can maybe snap this off. If I wiggle it enough. Oh yeah, if you have auto acceleration turned on, then yeah, that might be the issue. Alright, battery compartment removed. Just need to clean up the edges there. That's just straight up garbage. There's too much carnage around the edges of that to keep it. Alright, let's try and clean up some of this. Probably still remove a little bit more even. The Arduino, the board that I'm using is it's the Wemos, W-E-M-O-S D1, so D and then the number 1 Mini. It's based on the ESP8266, which is, if you haven't heard of it, it's an amazing little dirt cheap Wi-Fi microcontroller. Like these boards, basically like this is another one. They cost $250 and you order them from AliExpress. So like $250 American. So they're nothing. They cost nothing. And you can plug them into the Arduino IDE. You can program them like 1,000 different ways. They're great. I'm gonna cut off this little nubbin here, the little nubbins in the corners, and a little bit of this just for fun. You have an ESP, yeah. So it's based on the ESP. It's just a very small form factor one. But it's the Wemos D1 Mini. I've had good experience with it, and it's dirt cheap, so. And it has USB built in, which I know not all of them do. Although a lot of them do. Yeah, pretty much, Lev. Yeah, there's not much to it. It's yeah. I mean, there's some pull-up resistors and stuff attached, but it's basically as basic as you can get. Yeah, and that's why it's so cheap. All right, see you, Emily. Oh, I forgot to cut these little things off. I can just do that with my knife, I think. Oh. Arduino Nano clones, yeah. I mean, I like to use these when I need Wi-Fi. I assume the Arduino Nano ones do not. I think I have some of those Arduino Nano clones as well, but I don't think I've ever used them. Because I found out about the ESPs at about the same time, and they had Wi-Fi. Yeah, the ESPs are great. Like, they've been a great well, they've been around for a while now, but they were a great introduction into the hobby scene there. A great new addition, rather, not an introduction. They really made a big difference in making that kind of stuff accessible. Yeah, they don't know. Yeah, but yeah, if they're... I think they're probably a little bit more reliable. I know the ESPs have occasional issues, which in this case, it doesn't matter that much, because if it fucks up, power off, power back on. But yeah, if you need something that's a little bit more reliable, yeah, an Arduino based, or an Atmel based thing, I guess, is going to be more reliable. Okay. This is basically to the state I want it there in terms of cutting things down. Yeah, exactly, or just replace it, exactly. And yeah, that's the thing, is that at the cost of these clones, like $2, $3, even $5, it's not like, oh shit, it broke. Whereas when you buy like an official Arduino, it's like 40, 45 bucks or something. It's like, shit, I don't want to pay that again. Hope it doesn't break. You don't want to install that permanently into something unless it's something you really, really want. But yeah, a $2 thing, it's like, yeah, I'll chuck that into some stupid little garbage thing, and then I don't even care if it's gone. Okay, so that's cut down. So now, this all goes like this. Oh, the other thing is that I realized this peg interferes with this board if it's going to go at the external connector. Yeah, exactly. The clones are amazing. Actually, that reminds me that I should check my front door, because I ordered a replacement battery pack that I was going to use for this. And it was supposed to be delivered today, and it may be delivered already. And in that order, it wasn't quite $25, which was necessary for next day delivery. So I ordered an Arduino clone while I was in there. So appropriate. That reminded me to check that. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. I could probably cut this little edge down a little bit more. And then I do have the back cover for this, but the problem is that the latch is broken. I ordered a replacement from a place in Montreal. We'll see if it comes anytime soon, and if it looks anything similar to the right thing. If it does, then I'll just use that. Otherwise, I'll like use a magnet or something to keep the broken one closed. But yeah, now we have some more space here. We can definitely fit this battery in. Chonk. Ideally, I would like to... Are you telling me this isn't going to fit underneath that? Do I have to cut more of this off? I do. Hi there, Quentin Prain. In terms of electronic stuff, I don't stream it. I don't stream electronic stuff all that often. I stream frequently, but not usually electronic stuff like this. But I probably will be today and tomorrow. Maybe a little bit more into the week here as well. But yeah, I'm not like a regular electronics streamer or anything, if that's what you mean. But I do stream pretty much 5 days a week, at least. Just games and stuff. Yeah, so I need to cut this down a little bit more. I can cut this down to be smaller, but I can... Actually, I'm going to switch not to the... now that I've cut out the actual battery compartment, I'll switch to the grinder bit. Where's the... There it is. Come on. Why is this not? There we go. Nice. Thank you for the follow. Once it eventually comes in there. Might be a little bit, but much appreciated. I'm just going to pop upstairs and see if that delivery has been made yet, but I'll be right back. Before I get into it, stop. There it is. Perfect. Thank you for the follow. And there was no delivery. Okay, so I will grind this down a little bit more around here so we have some more space. The other issue that I've realized is once this board is installed in the front here, that's going to take up a little bit of space as well. So, the electronics community on Twitch is still really small. Yeah, I know it's not. I mean, a lot of very specific, or well, not even very specific. I guess electronics is pretty vague, but a lot of the creative communities are very small and you know. But I do occasionally, like, obviously I'm doing this right now. I do occasionally do various electronic stuff. I've streamed other things before, like when I was installing a high-def NES mod in my NES. I think I've done some other things as well. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's grind this down a little bit more. Yeah, it's interesting. No 100%. Basically, no 100% electronic streamers. It'd be an interesting niche for someone to go into if they were to start streaming and doing that. Like, obviously, I do a lot of gaming, so I don't think I'd... And I mean, I don't have enough side projects that are electronics based to do that, but I'm sure there's someone out there who would do that eventually. That's kind of surprising, actually. It seems like it'd be a pretty good niche for like a makerspace or something to just have a stream for working on electronics. I guess that's kind of a weird thing to stream too, because you need kind of a setup to be working on something and streaming it simultaneously. Yeah, creative is pretty new to Twitch. And yeah, I guess overall, I mean, I guess, yeah, when I selected that, there were only like 4,500 viewers or something, which seems like a lot, but when you split that across however many streams there are, I guess that's not actually all that many. Or I think that was maybe yesterday when I saw 4,500 viewers, but yeah, I guess, yeah, there's not nearly as many as there could be. I don't think I can grind this down too much more here. I might need to come up with a different battery solution. I thought this would fit, but I may have misjudged. I guess, hold on, do I even need these little... I probably don't need those supports. I don't think they're holding anything in place. Alright, also let's really quickly chop off this little nubbin here. Yeah, the whole creative thing is interesting because Twitch used to be Justin TV, which was kind of based around just random stuff, and then they went to Twitch and kind of narrowed it down, and then they're back to this broad open market. Well, I mean, it is a rechargeable lithium ion, but yeah, I was thinking, I had originally been thinking of, yeah, one of those little kind of flat packed things, but I wanted, what I ended up kind of thinking was, wait, I can just take one of those rechargeable USB battery banks and just basically use that circuit, because it's everything that I need. But yeah, I am using it. It is a rechargeable thing, but I did want one of those flat ones originally because that would fit wonderfully into the battery area there. But I figured I could just use a battery bank, remove the shell, and it would just all fit in there. And that's still my ideal scenario if that actually works out, but I might need to change my plan. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna cut out this tab, I believe was the one. Yeah, that's the guy. Still need to figure out how I'm exactly gonna close this since I've been cutting off like all of the battery supports. Or the screw connectors. Yeah, so my goal here will be to have the micro USB for the actual microcontroller stick through the external connector port here, and then most of the time, yeah, the battery will be in there forever, in quotes. Ideally, I'd like to have this openable still, so that the battery can be changed if necessary. Yeah, glue some magnets or something. I don't know exactly. But ideally, I'd like to be able to just stick the cover for that port in there to cover that up. Actually, it sits pretty nicely over the micro USB. So if I could kind of rig this up with a bit of a better fit inside so that it actually fits snugly over the micro USB, that might work perfectly. So that will work nicely there. And obviously we will... I haven't attached the microcontroller in place here. I'm probably just going to use some hot glue to get it sitting in the right spot, but I still need to work out how I'm going to connect the buttons. I'm thinking that I might have to hack it through the analog port, have just different resistors on each of the different inputs, and I'll feed them into the analog port. It's kind of a kludge, but that's one issue that I've encountered here, is I ended up using more ports than I anticipated. Because I only have 3 digital ports left, and then the analog port. So I don't think you can use the analog port explicitly as a, or address the analog port as a digital port on this. I'm not sure though. You must be able to. I don't know. Because if you can't, then I am kind of out of luck with using a shift register, which I don't have on hand either. What was I getting at? So I cut that down, yes, and let's just trim out this excess. Maybe I can even just fill that in again and then... Thank you for the host, Menenius. I don't know. I still need to figure out exactly how this is going to happen. In fact, right now I only have this screw. This is the only screw that is still possible to reuse as an actual anchor. PCF 8574. Hey, Menenius. I'm not sure what that is exactly. Let me Google that on my phone, I guess, so that I can look at it at the same time. PCF 8574. General purpose I/O I2C. I guess I could, because you can do software I2C on any pin, right? I think you can. I2C is just 3 pins, right? Yeah. Yeah, that could work. Just SDA, SCL, and... Oh, no, I'm wearing my safety glasses, Menenius, because I was cutting things. Rubber band until I figure it out, yeah. Yeah, that could work, Lab. That might be a pretty good option. I will keep that up on my phone so that I remember. But yeah, so that's the battery compartment out. So next up, I guess let's figure out... Wearing my safety glasses sounds so hot. Need to figure out... sorry, I'm just kind of doing things with my hands here while I'm thinking. I need to figure out the... Hold on, this isn't quite sitting flush in there anymore. I have... Oh, there's all sorts of debris and stuff in the way. Let's trim that down. Oh, there's a shit ton of debris here. What was I... Oh, I need to figure out the controller. I need the inputs. I'm gonna cut that board down to just the button segment, basically. And then I need to just kind of figure out what the best way is to hook into that to use the button inputs. as buttons for myself. But I probably won't install that today anyway, because I need to figure out what the actual method of hooking that in will be, whether it's with this thing that Leb suggested or kludging it through the analog port with different resistors, which is really a kludge. So I'm gonna thank you for the follow. I am FE2 or Lamfy2. I don't know. Thank you for the follow though. Okay, yeah, so that should see better there. Need to figure that out before I'm going to attach that and get it worked out there. Okay, yeah, so I'm really liking how this is coming together. I'm gonna say it over and over and over again, but honestly, it is coming together better. The only questionable part right now is the battery. But yeah, so I need to come up with a custom label for this, for the actual cartridge. Oh, I need to figure out the power switch. Let's just take a look at that and see what we can do here. So I desoldered the actual switch from the Game Boy. And I have the bit here that actually goes in place there as the external switch. I believe we determined that it sits something like this. And then if I've got it like that, ow, fuck, that's sharp. Yeah, so it might just be a matter of me just kind of gluing this into place here. But I just need to figure out exactly where it needs to sit. It's out of the way for right now. Yeah, I think right where I've got it is the spot. Has nice action there. So I'm going to use the Sharpie. We'll swap to the hot glue gun. I2C uses only 2 pins? Okay, well then that makes it even easier. To D1. Yeah, so that's the only issue, is that I've kind of arbitrarily used some pins. D1 is actually still available. I've got D1, D4, D8 free right now. SD8 to D2, SCL to D1. Yeah. So, well, I might be able to... I could still potentially move whatever's on D2 to D4 or something, but... I feel like there was a reason I avoided certain pins, but I may have just made that up. Okay, right, so I was unplugging this, I was going to plug in the hot glue, which is over here. We have not yet hurt ourselves. Which is a plus. And then I need to actually figure out the wiring on this, like what's connected to what. But I mean, obviously the case is a ground. And then it's probably just these middle pins connect to the outer pins when it's in one position or the other. That's my assumption. Something like that. I do have a multimeter here somewhere, right there, that we can use to test that theory while the thing is heating up, the hot glue gun. Okay, so I'm assuming that right now okay, so top pin connects to top pin if it's that way. Yeah, and then these two will connect if it's this way. Yep, okay. Simple as that. Yeah, I kind of poked myself on top of these, but it didn't actually legitimately hurt myself. Okay, so that works basically as I would expect it to work. So really nothing to that. Just means that when we are in the on position, which is this direction, then we will need to just connect these bottom two pins here that are these two, and or sorry, we'll have voltage going in one and coming out the other, and then it won't be connected when it's switched the other way. I might just kind of fill in this bottom little corner over here with some hot glue first, just to kind of help stabilize things a little bit. Take that out first. Oh shit. I realized that this is kind of open on this side here, so I can't gum it up with hot glue. See if I look here, you can see the switch moving in there. So maybe what I need to do I guess I could just put hot glue on the ends, except you can see the plastic goes through there also. What if I just glued some paper over it and then hot glued it into place? That would work, I think. Because hot glue doesn't exactly go through things. Yeah, I just need to glue this down. With my super glue. There we go, that should stop any super glue from going in the end, or in the side rather. Then we just need to get this in place again. Just bonk a little bit of glue on the paper there. And we can just ponk a little bit more around the sides, just as a structural support. Hot glue is the greatest. I love hot glue. Might not be perfect for everything, but it's good for a damn lot of things. Hell, you can basically waterproof a circuit board with it. I've done it. It's dirt cheap. Holds things in place without damaging them mostly. It's pretty easy to remove. Just with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, it'll detach. Look at that. We got ourselves a power switch now. Not that it's hooked up to anything yet, but hot glue or Dremel is my favorite. Dremel is... Actually, no. Hot glue is more useful than a Dremel tool, I think. Yeah, that's awesome. But both together... Hot glue is more useful than duct tape. Well, I guess it depends on the... In terms of an electronics project, hot glue is more useful than... Hot glue is basically the duct tape of hobby electronics projects. That's awesome. I love it. That went in place perfectly. Hot glue is the duct tape of hobby electronics projects. I have... Yeah, that's definitely a true fact. Also, since I've cut that down, I might as well snip off this... little post here. It's looking more and more like an actual thing the more we work on this. And it even locks, or in theory, locks this cartridge into place, but of course it's not actually going to be going anywhere, but, you know, it will appear to lock the cartridge in place. Fine. So that worked out. We've got that going there. Where's the volume dial? I know I detach... Oh, I didn't detach it. I thought I had removed the volume dial. Apparently not. It's right there. It would have been cool if I could have reused the... I guess I could have, actually. Reused the link cable plug. I'd made a little adapter that goes from link cable to USB. Now, I thought about putting on the contrast dial and actually having that control the backlight brightness. But honestly, I'm never going to be adjusting the backlight brightness. So maybe I just want to even hot glue the contrast dial in place just so it looks like it's there. to fill that hole. Make it wireless charging? That would be cool. I guess it wouldn't even be that impossible to do, because you can buy the wireless charging stuff pretty easily. Yeah, if I just attach that in like that, just got it poked into some hot glue there, but yeah, if I kind of poke that down into place there and hot glue it, that'll look decent enough to fill that hole in. Oh, should I unplug this? How much does that actually stick out on the real Game Boy? Yeah, pretty much the same as what I've got. Okay, so once this is up to heat, which it does seem to actually still be, so that's nice. I don't know why I tried to like cut off that string of hot glue with my fingers. Didn't hurt, but it got hot glue all over my fingers. Alright, so now when we close that up, looks pretty decent on that side. It's not perfect, but you might see it and then be like, oh, that's kind of weird, but mostly fine, whatever. Alright, let's look at the controller stuff. I've kind of been fucking around in different ways to get myself away from not looking at that, or get myself away from looking at it. I'm trying to postpone the inevitable. So, controller board. We've got circuits here. There's the button. So I think we basically just want to cut straight across here as much as we can. I've desoldered pretty much everything off of this board that's below this chip, because I wanted to cut below that chip, so everything's removed from the backside, so should just be good to go. I do want to be careful. Actually, I might get my bandana and just kind of, I don't have an actual face mask, which is the only thing, because I don't want to breathe in this board when I cut it. So I'm going to go get my bandana and tie it over my face to minimize the amount that I breathe in. So I'll be right back. Howdy there. God damn it. There we go. Okay, so that should at least limit the amount of this that I breathe in. Yes. Hey there, Irish Mayhem. Look a little bit gangsta. Chuck in the cutting wheel here. Get my glasses back on before I plug this in. Oh, wonderful. This is why I fucking hate glasses. So glad I don't have to wear these shit anymore. Fogging up from my breathing. Why is it not responding to uptime? God damn it. Astronomobot seems to crash when I'm streaming. Welcome back, Emily. Alright. I got that cut. Let me just plug this while I'm at it. Whew. Okay, got ourselves a bit of a mess here. Just gonna go get a cloth and wipe this down. Just a wet paper towel. I'd highly recommend having more breathing protection than I used for cutting a circuit board. I'm pretty sure what I did was still no good in terms of actual safety. Like, I'm pretty sure it provided no actual benefit other than stopping my face from being actively covered in debris. Okay. So. That simplifies the amount of stuff we have to look at even here. So we need to figure out where we can tap into most easily connect as many pins as possible simultaneously here. So what's weird, well no, I guess actually never mind, it's not that weird. And the other thing is we need to still have these little rubber thingies over top, so we can't really interfere with those. So most of where we can ideally work is kind of the center of the board here. I don't quite understand. Oh, I see. This one goes there and to this little edge bit. Yeah, so we've got to connect in here somewhere for all of these connections. So, I guess easy things that we can see is there's three right along in the center here. There are three wires that go through. They connect to this left thing, this bottom one, and this one on the right. Even if we then connect that here, we get another connection. That also connects down to this is tricky. This is tricky. I also maybe fucked myself a little bit. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some sandpaper and I'm going to just try and remove a little bit of silk screen up here, because we might be able to just connect to a lot of things through this big ol' set of wires that are coming along, traces that are going along up there. So I think if I'm careful with some sandpaper, I can remove some of that. Oh, see you, lab. Just cut a little bit of this out here. Thank you for your input and thoughts. It's interesting to run into someone else who's basically doing the same thing. Okay. So I think we can remove that Sharpie first of all. There we go, yeah, we're getting some copper there. I'm gonna try and remove a little bit more silk screen than that, but we are definitely getting it off there. You can see that there's some copper starting to show. Must be a better way of removing silkscreen than this, but this is doing the trick for now, at least. Okay, I've got a decent amount of it off there. Just continue over this way a little bit so we have access to all these wires that are, all the traces that are coming through up here, just in case. Okay, well that's probably good enough for now. It certainly gives us lots of things to work with as a start. So, for one thing, we know that these three traces that come up in the middle here, this is now getting tricky with the camera. There's three traces here. The problem is that I now have the focus not correct. Okay, there we go. There's three traces that come up right in the middle here, and they go to one side of each of these things. So what I'm thinking is we might be able to use that, and and the other one that's right next to it here, this guy also goes to the other one there. So we can use that as a common point for our D-pad, so we can feed in voltage that way. There's silk screen dust on the table here now. I don't have a degree in electronics. I'm a software engineer, so I've done plenty of electronics courses in school, but I'm certainly not focused in electronics, and I'm not working directly with electronics at work either. But I've always been somewhat interested in electronics. I mean, my capstone project, or my fourth year project for university, I designed a board for a 3D printer to connect to a Raspberry Pi directly. But yeah, the engineering degree helps a lot with at least having some basic knowledge of all of this. So anyway, so what I was getting at is there's four traces here, 2, 3, 4, that are all right next to each other. So if we ignore this guy, we'll use it for something else. This last one, we can tap into those as a common deceptive, as a common voltage in for the those things, for the buttons. Actually, I'm wondering... Okay, there's nothing on the other side. The other side looks like it's just a giant ground plane, though. So I was going to say I could... Let me just... Yeah, pretty sure that's copper under there, and not just PCB. So anyway, my thought is that if I just join these 4 traces together, we can solder one wire onto that, and that'll just be like voltage in. And then we just need to find out good spots like this one here, which connects up to the other side of this button. The other side of this button comes along to here, so that's nice also. The other side of this button comes out... What the fuck? Well, that one isn't so good, so we might just have to cut it off and connect in here somewhere. I poked myself on some sharp pins. It wasn't so bad. One thing I wanted to do before we get too much further here, I want to get this hot glue gun out of the way, and also this Dremel tool that are just in my way. But I want to change the tip on my soldering iron, because right now I've got this relatively fat one. It's a wedge tip. There's just a blob of solder on there, but I've got this much finer tipped tip. No, I literally just poked myself on on a kind of pokey thing. I just went like, ouch, that hurt. Wasn't so bad. I just want to change out this, so we have a little bit more control, because these are really small, really small traces, or not really small, but relatively small. Ta-da! We have a much finer tipped soldering iron now, one that will be able to actually solder that. So, hey Mizu, we will just get that starting to heat up here, and grab a wire here that I can't reach, so I have to wander all the way around here. Got some spare wires there. Oh, I guess now that this is cut down, we should also see just how this even sits in here. Oh, that's really hot because I was sitting next to my computer. So this will... Basically how this will work is all these buttons go in place here. Oops, that goes the other way. This goes in here. And then we've got this little rubber bit that goes over top. And this little rubber bit that goes in here. And then all of this goes underneath the circuit board, like so. So we can screw that into place once this is all done. But basically that lets us get our actual buttons here, and they all should do things. In theory. So just in terms of space, the spot that we've been sanding off will kind of come out over here on this side of the board into this nice empty spot. The other buttons, I'm sure, they'll come up out of the middle, so that's not so bad either. In fact, they can be routed through this hole in the center of the board. Yeah, so this should be relatively simple. So step one, we want to get those 4 pins soldered together and with a wire coming out. First, let's get a wire prepared. Okay, so then we'll just grab a little bit of solder on the tip of our iron, and I'm going to try and run it across all of these pins here. Man, there's something goopy on this one. So, get out of here. Solder's acting weird. I got 3 of those kind of tinned, just to say I got solder on them.
looking at the right things here. Yes, I've gone kind of one too far, but now in theory I can attempt to start bridging these traces with solder, which it does not want to do.
Actually, hold on. Why am I even fucking around like this? I have a pen that does this. So this is a nickel conductive pen. I should just be able to kind of be able to paint a line on here. Let me just test it on the back here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and then I can kind of get some solder onto that. I think, or I should be able to. I've never really actually used this, so this is a bit of an experiment for myself. Now all those traces kind of join into one big pad here. Need to slightly separate it from this other trace. So I'll do with a knife. That actually connect the things that I think it did? Yeah. So now we've got couple of different things connected there. I think that I should just be able to throw some more solder on there now. It should stick to that, I think. Well, it does not seem to be working like that. Seems like it just dissolved all that pen away. Oh, and it smells like actual shit. Oh my god. It smells like a hot shit. Maybe I didn't let it dry enough. Oh my god, this solder pen stuff is no good. Did not help me do what I
trying to do, that's for sure. It may have actually just fucked me over, because now I have to figure out how to remove it. Which, the answer might be rubbing alcohol or something, I don't know. So now I've kind of, or maybe just some sandpaper. Well, it's not the circuit board here that smells like hot shit. It's the stuff that I applied that I then heated up. Yeah, it smelled awful. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. So we gotta do this the old-fashioned way. I was hoping that this would just make this a fuck ton easier, but no, that's not what it's for, I guess. I'm trying to tap into. I'm taking apart a Game Boy and I'm gonna make it a remote control, basically. But what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the circuit board from the Game Boy that basically is how the buttons are picked up, how it recognizes when you press the buttons, and I'm trying to tap into that so that I can get the button presses myself for my own controller that I'm using. It's the overall goal of what I'm trying to achieve right now. Not for streaming Game Boy games. No, this will basically be a tool for me to use when I'm streaming other stuff. It'll be a wireless remote that will let me control my stream inside a Game Boy. So this will let me stop and start my stream. It'll let me change my lights. Yeah, to conquer the world. It's the easiest way to look at it. This will let me make things appear and disappear on stream. Stuff like that. Maybe I need to... a little bit of bonus flux here. I'm just crazy. I might just need to kind of run a wire across these. The solder isn't wanting to drag across between them. I'm trying to connect a couple of these little wires, but they or the traces. They just don't want to. So yeah, I'm going to just take a little bit of wire. I'm just going to take this piece of wire here and trim a little bit off. And use these tweezers. Just need to figure out if this is close to the right length, and it is. If I'm just careful. Okay. Oops. Hopefully I didn't... Okay, no, everything's good. Super out of focus, but... God damn it. God damn it! I don't know that I can actually do this with the camera there as well. This is like a too many handed operation here. Like some intense music. Okay, I think I've actually got that connecting those 4 traces. One, two, three, 4. I think I'm actually connecting this 5th one also, though. I can fix that. So I've got those connected now. I'm going to fix this extra trace being connected by simply cutting it, which I can't do with the camera up that close. Unfortunately, we're now at a point where there's like all sorts of close-up work necessary, and I think I just cut... Oh no, I didn't. Okay, never mind. wonder if I can sing? You saw my Metal Gear Solid streams, I think. Okay, what does this even connect to? Hold on, before I... Yeah, I definitely... Oh, actually, hold on, though. Hold on. I don't need to worry about it up there. I can just cut this down here. Gotta make sure this is nice and disconnected here. Hey, Plasma. I think I've got this cut, but it's really hard to tell. I'm just going to kind of expose some trace here on this side. And we're going to use the multimeter. Okay, that's definitely disconnected now. So what that also means is that when this button is pressed, the down one, we should get a signal through from here. Hey, Plasma. So what we're making is basically a stream controller, so we'll be able to remotely control OBS, but it will be in the form factor of a Game Boy. So when we press the down button, these 2 points should have a connection. Fuck, where'd all my buttons go? God damn it, they're all right there in the case. Or to be slightly more technical, there should be continuity between these two. And there is. So, that's good. And there should not be on the other side of this little spot here. Just a second. Okay, there is not there. Good. First letter starts with... Oh. I see what he's getting at. But wait, actually, there should be... Well, I guess it's fine that there isn't, because I guess we probably connected those. Or disconnected those already. Worry about my cuticles? Oh, Menenius. Okay, so that's connected. I didn't test anything else, but we also have this button here. So, okay, so what we determined before was this button, the right button, connects to this pad here. The top button connects to this pad here. Oh, and also the bottom one also connects to this pad. So it connects there. Top one connects there. Left one connects up to this trace, but what I'd like to do is just kind of cut it and connect a wire here. Or like scrape off some trace there and intercept that signal there instead of trying to get it up around here where I've already connected all of those. I'm going to connect this little piece of wire here. So that should be our voltage in. When was the last time I had a manicure? Well, last time I had a manicure was never. We need to cut the... Where are my clippers? Here, there. Cut this. We'll use the rest of this. We'll throw this through this hole here, which gets us the other side of the up button. Can you treat stream me a manicure? No, you can't. That's our up button. Then our right button, we'll use another one of these wires. Cuticle emergencies. The right button can go through here. Come on, melt, damn solder. God damn it. So that goes through there. That's our right arrow. Or right on the D-pad, rather. Not an arrow. So for our left arrow, hold on, I'm just trying to trace things out here. So this, oddly, this bottom, the other side of this bottom arrow connects to the one of these buttons here. I'm not sure which one is which, but the bottom of the bottom left button. So that's interesting. But I will. How does this attach? This goes through like that. I guess I can cut a little bit of this rubber away. Maybe. Probably not, actually. Which means I need to actually connect this up near the top edge. Should be able to connect to that, and because the silk screen's actually still in place on all the other traces, I should be able to just get a pretty easy connection. Manny is shocked by everyone having not had a manicure before. Come on. I got a little bit of solder onto that trace there. A lot, though. Go at this with a little bit of sandpaper. Got a little bit more copper exposed there. Damn it, this just does not want to attach to this trace here. Oh, well, maybe if I just put the wire there, it'll actually just kind of stick to it. Okay, that works. Although, there we go, yeah. I'm just gonna cut a little slit in this rubber thing here for the wire. Menenius is into hands. Okay, so that's up, right, and left. So we clip a little bit off of the corner of this down here. And we can nicely attach to this big trace that comes off of that button there. Now this also connects around oh, hold on. What? Very nice hands, very manually. There's that package. I'm just going to let the guy leave it there. So this actually connects around. I misinterpreted how this went. This connects to these to the start and select buttons here. That would be the start button in particular that it connects to. I don't quite understand how all of this is wired up or meant to be wired up. I guess these traces that come out the middle were probably actually supposed to be the outputs, but whatever, I'm doing my own thing. Actually, even better than that, if we... No, yeah, I guess that's really our only option there. We'll cut the trace pretty much right at the base of this triangle bit, like here. so that's nicely disconnected now. But are they soft? Then we'll use some sandpaper. Remove some solder mask. So now we can solder onto that for our down button. So then all of our directional buttons should be intercepted. That was Panda. I know they sound the same, but that was Panda who was here. Alright, so that's up, down, left, and right, all accounted for. People are super busy. Alright, so what we're going to do strip these wires that I should have stripped before attaching them, but whatever. God damn it. There we go. Okay, so that's all those wires stripped. So now I'm going to toss this in here. How long do I think it'll take for me to finish this project? It'll be a couple more days probably still. I'm probably going to take a break here. When did I start streaming? It was around 1:30, I think. I'll probably take a break soon. I'm getting hungry. I don't know why Astronomabot keeps on disappearing on me, though. Because I know someone tried to use uptime earlier and it just wasn't there. So this one here, I should have used a different color wire, but whatever. stream. Yeah, did I start at 12:30 or did I start at 1:30? I know I tweeted it out, but it was basically just like, okay, I'm doing this now. Okay, so now I should be able to connect my multimeter to this wire here, and then I should be able to see whenever I press a button, it should appear on one of the other wires here. Cuticle kink. So I should have been using my third hand thing here, but I'm going to take the little alligator clips out of it and use those. So I should be able to connect... Actually, can I? No, it's not quite. Not quite. So I should be able to connect this. God damn it, I didn't actually get the... God damn it, this isn't working how I wanted it to. So I'm trying to just kind of rig this up here. In a way that Yep, so that's the up button. That's left. Doesn't go on any of the other ones. Down, I think, should be this one. Come on. Yep. Right, should be this guy. Didn't close the door. Okay, so that's... all of that. So that is working as expected. So let's just take a quick peek. We're not going to actually do the rest of the buttons, but I think we're going to have a look here and see how we can maybe rig up the other ones. Also, I might... Oh, perfect. I have some red here. I'm going to actually change out the input one to a red wire. So that's a little bit better. So for the other buttons, we've got... There must be some nice way... Well, this one nicely connects to a thing here. Maybe what I can do is I can cut... maybe I could cut this wire, this trace, and join it to this guy, and use that as my input for those buttons, and then I can get input or output from this one and this one on the other side. And then I don't know how I'm going to do start and select. I don't know if I even need to rig up start and select, but I figure I should probably do all of them, just to be safe. So with that being said, I think we can stop there for right now. I might get back into this later once I've had some food and stuff. But for now, I think we're going to stop. I guess actually I have my stream thing up here. It says how long I've been streaming. Oh no, I've only been live for 2 hours and 57 minutes apparently. So I'm just coming up on 3 hours now, yeah. It being 5:05. So I guess I was started closer to 2. Weird, I thought it was earlier than that I started. But whatever. Thanks for watching. This is coming along, at least. I'll look into the input option that that guy suggested earlier. But yeah.